Good day everyone, welcome to my video. Now what we're going to focus on here is a lawn tractor that actually will start up and run and then quits after say about 15 minutes of some high powered use, heats up. Now just really brief, if you're here because your lawn tractor won't start at all, I'm just going to give you some starting points, but that's not the point of this video, but just to get you going if that's the case. Now the things you want to check for if it doesn't start at all: make sure your battery is charged up. Secondly, make sure the cables are clean. Maybe if the battery's good, remove the cables, make sure that the connectors are really good. And the other common thing, the reason when you turn the key and it doesn't start, there's a solenoid back here. I mean, I can't take this all apart. I don't want to take it all apart, but just watch where the battery, look where the battery cables go. They'll go back into here. There's a solenoid. Sometimes those fail. And if the solenoid fails, basically it doesn't force the contacts to be made, which will send power to your starter right here. Like all lawn tractors are very similar. So those are the key points if it is not starting at all. That's a starting point, okay? Now let's get to the real issue here. This lawn tractor will run fine for about 15-20 minutes and then it just quits. So let's go through all the steps before we start getting into something major that needs to happen here, but I'm hoping we can solve it before we get too far. Okay, let's get down to business. Now, most importantly, the first thing to do, check your oil level. Because if you don't have enough oil in here, your lawn tractor might just be getting way too hot, and then it finally says, well, hey, I'm not gonna run anymore. So check your oil level. I mean, take out the stick, wipe it off, put it back in, make sure it's up to the full line. That's the first thing to do. And if it's low, if it's really low, maybe that's all the issue is. Go out and fill it up. Go out and give it a try. See what happens. Now the second thing, this is super important. Now, the best way to do this, I really hope you have an air compressor with an end like this. Because what we're going to do, we're going to take off this fuel filter and keep the air compressor pressure low, like maybe only like 30 psi on your regulator or something. You don't want to go full bore and put 110 psi in there. But I'll show you what I'm getting at in a second. And we're going to test the venting on the fuel cap, because if that vent is plugged, it's going to starve itself for gas. And really the easiest way, if you don't have an air compressor, there's a little hole on the top of the gas cap. I'll show you that in a second, but really the best way to do it, you have to take, now you're going to get a little bit of gas around here, so don't be smoking, and maybe don't be doing this next to your, if you're cooking hot dogs out on a fire or something, maybe don't be parked there drinking and working on your lawn tractor with gas. I'm just going to take this off. A little bit of gas will run out. Keep this elevated. If it goes way down low, it might start siphoning out. So take that off. Sorry. Take this end off. All right. I'll set that tube up there. I'm just with it up there. So I just have it up here. It's up above the level of a fuel tank. So just to save time, as I said, take this type of an air nozzle, put it into the pipe, and give it just a little bit of a, and you'll be able to, if the gas cap is working properly, it's on right now, you'll hear it venting. Now you have to be really careful here, because if you put too much air in there, even if it is venting, or if it's actually plugged, what's going to happen is gas is going to come spraying out of here. So that's why I say be very careful, or else you're going to get gas everywhere. Because it pressurizes the tank, and then it's going to come spraying out. Now I did hear sound coming out of the gas cap, so that means this little vent hole in here is clear, so it's working. So I've already done this. This is the first thing I did, and then I went out It did seem to be a little bit plugged with some dirt on the top here, but that did not solve the problem. So it was venting enough, but I did clear it out, so do that anyway. It's a good thing to do, maintenance thing. Okay, now the second thing, take your air nozzle again, and again, low pressure, put it into here. This goes to the carburetor, and be very gentle on the air pressure. And you'll be able to hear it right away. You'll hear some bubbling. So that means air's getting in there, so that nothing's plugged up. Now there could be other issues within the carburetor, but I don't want to go there yet, because hopefully that's not the problem. Alright, next step. Okay, moving right along. So here's the old fuel filter. I'm going to replace this. Now I'm not going to tell you the exact size. I believe this is probably for a 1/4 inch hose, but look it up online, or when you go to the store asking for a filter, you know, tell them what you're doing with it, what it's for. And you don't have to buy an original equipment manufacturer one, because they'll charge you way too much money. I'm going to replace mine with this one. It has the same size ends on it. That's really all that matters. Pretty much any filter will do. A little bit bigger one, that's probably really going to help things in the end, even if it's not the fuel filter. But you know, if you haven't changed your fuel filter in many, many years, it could be plugged. And I'm thinking that this thing, I'm just going to do a test here. It should flow out. Like, there's still gas in there. I think, personally, I think that should be flowing out a lot faster. I mean, if I turn it the other way, then it will just run out, but that's seems to be pretty slow if you ask me. It's just like drip, drip, drip. So let's get the fuel filter replaced. And now hopefully, I think almost on all fuel filters nowadays, they have an arrow for the flow. Usually if you look at the cap where the white cap is, most of them have some sort of a cap on them. That's usually the outside, so we want to go in here. But look for the arrows, they'll be there. And we'll get this on. And let's just get the clamps moved back into position. There. Get this one on. Hopefully well, you know what I'm doing. I mean, I might be blocking it a bit, but it's moved up into place. I just put a little bit of pressure to spread that back into place. I think it's on there pretty good. Okay, so we have the fuel filter on. Now the other thing is, I'm going to start this up in a second, and provided that it gets running, which I'm pretty sure it's going to, then after that, at that point, I'm going to go out and do some mowing. As I said, it usually quits within 15 minutes. And if it doesn't quit in 15 minutes, I'm going to continue on for as long as it takes. If I finish everything that I want to do, it's going to be a minimum half hour. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start up the lawn tractor, and this is right here. On many lawn tractors, they have a pump, a fuel pump, especially if your tank is down below the carburetor, which mine is, and it runs on vacuum. So there could be an issue with the vacuum line if there's a crack in it or something. I don't believe that's the case with mine, or there's something wrong with the pump internally, but it runs on vacuum. And so as I turn it over, the fuel filter should start filling up with fuel. It should start up, and voila, we'll start giving it a go. So this is going to be the first test. So it'll be seconds away, but I'm going to go out and start mowing now. And then even if it does work, there's more to it. I'm going to tell you some more stuff, so hang in there. Okay, everyone, I actually spent, wow, almost an hour. I finished my entire yard, so, plus I was pulling a 200-pound aerator behind the lawn tractor, and I ran it at full power, and it didn't quit. So the good news is that I believe at this point, obviously, that's the fuel filter that required changing. But now, if you've done that and you're still having issues, let's cover one more thing here. Well, a couple actually. Now, say there was an improvement, so you know you should change your fuel filter anyway, so you're not losing any money by doing that. Just do it. There's no harm in that. Now, the second thing is your air filter. Now, that might be also very plugged up, so remove the air filter. It's pretty easy to do. There's just a couple of bolts on the top. It comes out, and you can buy a new one. Go to the store, buy a new one, or you can try to bang out the dirt in that, and then put it back together. No big deal. It's really easy. Many videos online how to do that. I mean, I'm only doing what I have to do as I do it, so that I don't, you know, get into too much depth here. Now, the final thing, and again, there's videos online for this. Another issue that I've heard, but I can't verify for myself because I haven't ran into it, is the ignition coil in these units. What I've heard is that they work fine for about 15-20 minutes. They get overheated, and then I don't know if they kind of like short out or something, or you know, something happens with the energy flow in there. That's something to look into if that's an issue, but that's going to require some, you know, you're going to have to remove a lot of stuff to get at it. Look on the internet. There's probably some good videos on there. And really that's about it. And the final thing is, if everything else checks out, then it's possible that the jets in the carburetor are plugged, and that's causing an issue. But I'm so happy that mine was resolved. I hope this helps you out. Please like and subscribe. Come back for more, and if I have any more issues, of course, I'll update the video or put a new one up. So if you subscribe and click the bell for notifications, if anything comes up, you're going to see it here. And because, yeah, I do videos every time an issue comes up. That's what my channel is all about. I don't randomly just make videos. I do videos when issues come up, so that's how I operate. That's how I work. So that's why you should subscribe and get the notifications, because whatever I've covered, whatever product you have, if it's applicable to you, sure enough, another day is going to come where another issue is going to arise, and I'll address it. And again, take care. Have a great day. Happy mowing. Oh, and by the way, if you do have to do further work on your lawn tractor, you know, if you have to get at the carburetor, which is at the front, this lid is really easy to remove. Most lawn tractors are like this. Mine has lights on it, so there's a little harness. I just unhook that, and all you do, rotate the lid back a little bit, pull up on it, and you can remove it. It's not magical, easy to do, folks. That way at least you have access to everything. Alright, take care.